Welcome to a landmark edition in the saga of the stars. Welcome to your trusted home for depth and clarity, Turkish Spotlight Secrets. As the calendar edged toward 2026 and the world dissolved into fireworks and countdowns, a softer glow took shape inside a quiet corner of Istanbul. Today we step into the afterglow left by the couple who defined a generation of Turkish pop culture chemistry, Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir. For months, the air has been thick with speculation, whispers of distance, and the chill of long silences. But what has unfolded in the last hours goes beyond rumor, it feels like a deliberate message. Before we unravel the subtleties contained in the intimate images that have seized social media, a sincere invitation, if you cherish this measured, thoughtful form of storytelling, rooted in respect for truth, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Tap the bell so the rhythm of the stars finds you wherever you are. And if you want to become a pillar of this project and unlock exclusive insights, click the join button now. Your support enables us to pursue stories others only skim. Now hush your feet and quiet the noise, because we're stepping into Can and Demet's sanctuary. New Year's Eve is usually a parade of spectacle, but for Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir, the arrival of 2026 looked like a return to essence. The photos they let the world see reveal a complete shift in attitude. No crowded parties. No glittering gowns engineered to dominate headlines. What we see instead is the architecture of a real home. Minimalist in a way that speaks, not empties. A small, meticulously decorated tree. Soft, warm lights collecting in the corners like a hush. A calm that doesn't negotiate. Demet appears unguarded and luminous without effort. Can, at ease in his own space, looks present instead of performative. These images don't read like a strategy from press agents, but like a quiet moment that was shared because it mattered. For the Turkish Spotlight Secrets family, this is not a detail, it's a declaration. Real love doesn't need a megaphone to be heard. For weeks, absence fed the tabloids. Threads multiplied, insisting their paths had drifted, that the electricity that once ignited sets had burned out under the weight of attention. But the answer the couple offered was exquisite in its simplicity: silence. While others rushed to pen denials or craft statements, Can and Demet chose to remain inward. At Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we read this as a sign of growth. They aren't newcomers seeking validation in the court of opinion anymore. They're two people who learned that privacy is the only oxygen a relationship can breathe at the height of fame. Those close to the actress hint that the decision to spend a discreet New Year's Eve, far from flashes and crowded rooms, was a pact of mutual protection. Can, in a modern gesture of quiet strength, supported Demet step by step, adjusting his own rhythms to align with the calm they both craved. This isn't retreat, it's anchor. And it is, without question, the loudest possible answer to predictions of a fall. Let's pause in this story, rich with symbolism, dear Turkish Spotlight Secrets family. Tell us, do you believe silence and simplicity are the sharpest tools to cut through rumor in the entertainment world? Or do public figures owe a more open dialogue to the fans who uplift them? And which other Turkish couple should we subject to this level of careful, in-depth analysis next on our channel? Leave your thoughts below, we read with care. If you value this kind of depth, give the video a like. If you want to back our independent investigations, the join button is your VIP pass. By joining, you not only support Turkish Spotlight Secrets, you help keep the quality you deserve. Back to the heart of it. Demet seems to have crossed an invisible threshold into a quieter season of her life. People close to her say the last months were dedicated to cleansing the noise, to recentering. She is shifting her focus away from the thirst for numbers and toward the texture of peace. This New Year's Eve, introspective and resonant, wasn't an accident, it was a choice. By limiting access to the machinery of gossip, she may have strengthened her bond with Can in the very stillness the outside world misread. Picture the scene the photos don't fully show: 2 plates, a simple dinner for 2, a candle that breathes instead of blares, a playlist that whispers more than it shouts. The kind of night when truth fills the room. In that quiet, the reason they were drawn together years ago on set returns like a familiar melody. Despite a calendar that never seems to rest, Can stands like an anchor, precise and considerate, removing anything that could rattle the delicate balance they built. At Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we applaud this evolution, a chapter where joy doesn't need an audience to be real. The industry has watched this arc with surprise and, eventually, respect. In a landscape addicted to spectacle, to on-camera reconciliations and theatrical separations, Can and Demet chose to speak through a few grounded images. No exclusive sit-downs to counter rumors. No threads that march on for paragraphs. Just a sequence of stills that pulse with serenity. For our editors at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, whether intended or not, it's a brilliant strategy. By refusing to fuel narratives, they shifted the light back to their craft and to the quiet strength of what they share. The comments tell the story, words like mature, steady, real, terms that don't trend easily, suddenly sit at the top. The sincerity of those domestic frames landed more deeply than a glossy campaign, reminding everyone that in an age of hyperexposure, authenticity is the rarest luxury. Look closer at the details that might slip by. The room holds a lived-in warmth, not a set dress to charm. A folded blanket on the arm of a sofa. 2 ceramic cups that look chipped by use, not designed for an editorial. A record player in the corner, or maybe just a small speaker glowing with its own soft aura. A strand of lights on the tree that someone clearly replaced by hand. The kind of texture that resists staging. The energy isn't pounding against a wall trying to fix a fracture, it's celebrating what already holds. Their glances, caught in what seem like casual seconds, carry a private code, shared but not surrendered. By the turn of 2026, Demet has reportedly reshaped her professional map, choosing projects that align with boundaries she means to keep. Can, in this harbor, gathers fuel for the challenges ahead. The message is clean, they are in step, they are resilient, and they are choosing love over the industry's appetite for spectacle. New Year's didn't just end a calendar, it opened a room where they set the rules. To the Turkish Spotlight Secrets community, a word of gratitude before we move on. You made this channel a home for nuance and elegance, a place where we can slow down and examine the human pulse behind the headline. If you haven't joined our membership yet, you're missing out on exclusive breakdowns we don't share publicly. Click join to support our independence and help us keep asking the right questions. Members receive badges that signal your commitment and get to vote on future deep dives. Press join now and shape the next story. As we close this New Year's chronicle, one that defied the expectations of a million timelines, one truth stands firm. Kenyaman and Demet Özdemir have bested speculation without uttering a word. They reminded us that love is not a performance clause, it's a private agreement renewed in the warmth of a shared space. Their choice to usher in the year in a quiet, meaningful way becomes a gift not only for them, but for those who still believe real happiness doesn't need a spotlight to exist. At Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we will keep reading every sign, every gesture, and even the quiet between them, to bring you the truth with the seriousness you expect. May 2026 deliver the peace they've been reaching for. Thank you for walking through this story with us. If this video made you reflect on the power of protecting what matters, don't forget to like it, share it with fans of Can and Demet, and subscribe. And please consider joining our member circle with the join button. Your support keeps the Turkish Spotlight Secrets flame alive. We'll see you in the next exclusive, right here on your favorite channel. And one more thing, because the subtext matters as much as the surface. There's an elegance to the way Can and Demet negotiated the pressure that has trailed them ever since the day a fictional love story collided with real feelings in the public imagination. They didn't deny the past, nor did they dramatize the present. Instead, they chose to live inside the small, deliberate acts that build trust, showing up, staying soft where it counts, setting boundaries where they must. That is the craft behind the pictures. People love a grand gesture, but a quiet consistency is harder to fake. A carefully placed ornament on a small tree. A sweater that looks lived in. A gaze that meets you without flinching. These are not props. They are the signature of two people writing their own privacy policy in a world that continually asks for access. Some will argue that silence leaves room for fabrication. They're not wrong, absence is a blank page. But this time, the blank page carried its own story, and the story was peace. The absence of noise became the presence of intention. And the industry, after years of training us to expect drama on demand, had to sit with a different kind of plot. A relationship that thrives precisely because it refuses to be serialized for public consumption. There's a certain bravery in that. It's the kind that doesn't trend in an hour but endures for years. If this is how Can and Demet intend to approach what comes next, care, focus, and work that speaks louder than interviews, then 2026 might be less about the spectacle and more about substance. That is a gamble we will always applaud. From here, the questions multiply, and we will be here for them. What projects will Demet say yes to, and which will she gracefully decline? How will Can navigate the pull between international visibility and a home base that grounds him? Can a love story flourish while cameras keep searching for angles, and can the truth stay whole when filtered through 1,000 feeds? We don't know every answer yet. But the frame they offered on New Year's Eve gave us the only one that matters: they know who they are to each other. Everything else can wait. Until the next chapter, Turkish Spotlight Secrets remains at your side, translating the whispers and honoring the silences.